Hello, y'all. I'm doing this go live here, so I hope we are on and you can hear me and all like that. Yeah, I wanted to come on here. Obviously, we are living in interesting times to say the least. I mean, this for us has really sent us all for a loop. Of course, this is not the first time in human history we've seen anything like this, not the first time in American history we've seen anything like this, but it is in our lifetime pretty disturbing and unsettling, and a lot of people are in fear and panic right now. So one thing I just wanted to say hello and touch base with y'all, with my house members here. Hi, hope you're doing okay, managing as best you can in these times. There's a lot going on in my mind and a lot going on in the world, but a lot going on in my mind in terms of why I wanted to come on with this live. I thought I would, try out live, but also um, just maybe get some feedback as I go. So the thing that I have been wanting to, hello, I see people. I don't know what this little message is on there. It says welcome from YouTube. Anyway, the thing that I wanted to do was help us look at the situation from another point of view, not just the particular, political, the economic, the medical, the daily onslaught of what all we're getting. Because what I do here and what I try to do is help us think about the broader, the spiritual, right? And so what I've been, going through my mind and thinking about downloading really in meditation and dream work. What's going on? What is this coronavirus showing us and telling us from a metaphysical, broader perspective? Not just the ordinary, which we need to do, washing our hands and staying 6 feet away. I'm in California, so we are on safer at home, hashtag safer at home restrictions. And so that means that we're only to go to essential services. So we are not to just be hanging out. Not that I was anyway. Oh, somebody's calling me. Let me decline that. Really? Okay. The things that happen when you go live. Um, yeah, so we're on stay at home, safer at home. And I wanted to think about what is the larger message for us that this virus is doing for us. Obviously, it's scaring a lot of us, but what is it doing for us? And so the spiritual, as you see the title here, the highest spiritual truth that is coming to us from this virus is that all is one. And I know that might not sound extraordinary to say, but it really is the highest spiritual teaching. It is the most basic spiritual teaching. All of the spiritual teachers who have been here have told us this, all is one, but we have not really understood it. If you were acquainted with Christianity and Jesus and the New Testament, he said, I and the Father are one. And Christianity has taken that to understand and to teach the world that it meant only Jesus and the Father are one. But that's not what that spiritual teaching is. It's that we're all one. I and the Father and us, or the God and us are one. We are of the same thing that God is. All is one. So when I say that's the highest spiritual teaching, that's what I'm getting at. Like, you know, explicit Orthodox religion will tell you that you have to go outside of yourself to find God. That God is out there, up there in the sky, what have you. And you have to do something to appease that God out there. But the mystics and the metaphysicians have been telling us all along, no, God is in here. And when you really know that, you are empowered. Religion tells you God and God is out there in the sky. And so you have to go to a church or community to be in right relationship. Somebody else has to teach you how to be in right relationship with that God. But no, the mystics have said you don't need somebody else, really. It's fine to have community and all and to share, but you don't need someone else to help you with your relationship with God. God is within. All is one. All is one. I'll quote the scripture from Genesis. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Out of what? See, we never asked that. Out of what? Did God go to the store and find some stuff? No. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. God created out of God's own being. The only stuff there was God's stuff. The only stuff there is God's stuff. God created humans out of God's own being. God created everything out of God's own being. So everything is God stuff. Now, scientists, physicists tell us that we're all made of stardust. We're all made, when they can explore what's out in our universes, what is out there? What is the substance of the stuff? What is it actually made of? Well, scientists don't say God stuff. I say God stuff because I'm a religion scholar, theologian, and mystic. So I'm going to say God stuff. Creator stuff, if you will. It's only one substance, is what the scientists are coming to get and to share with those of us who have been spiritual teachers for a long time, well before me, just millennia ago, have been saying, all is one. We are all made of the same substance. There is no separation. There is no separation between me and you. There's no separation between you and my neighbor. I am you. I am that. The Hindus taught from 5,000 years ago. I am that. You can look up that book on Amazon. It's just called I Am That. And so for most people, you look at that and say, what is that book about? What does that even mean? I am that. What does it mean to say I am that? It means that everything that you can look around and see, I am that. Because there's really only one substance. There's stardust. There's God stuff. There's the stuff that the Creator used to create everything. And it is all the same stuff. Okay, so that's a little bit of the metaphysics. So what is coronavirus teaching us? I don't care, the virus is saying, I don't care what wall you build or try to build. I don't care what borders you have. I don't care what oceans separate you. I don't care about your races, your ethnicities, your religious differences, your different economic systems. I don't care about none of that. I'm getting ready to drop this on you so that you see that there is no distinction. This virus is infecting the entire world without distinction. So we're reminded, oh, all is one. There's no borders that really separate. There's no borders that separate because we're all susceptible in this human flesh. So that's the spiritual truth. The spiritual teaching is that all is one. And so I guess I would just share some of the religious traditions that have told us this before. Like I said, the Hindus from 5,000 years ago, their highest gurus were teaching that I am that. I am of the same substance. The Kemet teachings, the teachings out of Kemet, Egypt, they have taught, well, all the religions have taught, there's one ground of being, y'all. There's one ground of being. You can call it anything you want. A ground of being meaning undifferentiated stuff. And that's the highest, most profound God that there is. We don't even have a name for that. We can't readily relate to that God in that way, or the Creator in that way. We just cannot. God itself, I'm going to use these terms, the undifferentiated ground of our being, expresses itself and moves out of oneself, out of itself to create. Like I said, out of what? God's own self. And then we get the differentiation. So every religion gives us a creation story. Every religion, every culture has a creation story where they have used metaphor and allegory and symbolism to try to describe the beginning of things, where we all come from and what is God and who is God. Every culture has a creation story. If you were to Google in creation story, you would have to figure out which one you wanted. There is a commonality in terms of a flood, though. That's a very common theme in creation stories across cultures, is that there was a flood. Um, but it varies in terms of why there was that flood. And so the Hindus have I am that. The Kemetic teachings tell us about none, N-U-N, none, the undifferentiated ground of all being, the one source from which all else has flown, has been created. And so when that ground of being creates, then we begin to see what we might call the gods or the universal principles. So without going into all of that right now in this video, just suffice it to say that every culture has its creation story. The Kemetic teachings, the Hindus, the Native Americans, and that teaching points us back in the direction that we are all one. I just was teaching in my classroom before all this happened. I was just teaching in my classroom about Native American spirituality, Native American, the Native American worldview, and Native American liberation theology in particular. And what I was sharing with them, first of all, is how little we really know about Native American anything, really and truly. But many Native Americans have an idea about relationship with the earth and with the other living beings, not just North American Native Americans, but indigenous people all over the world, right? They have always told us, you cannot poison this earth and expect to thrive. You cannot poison the earth and expect to be well, right? So I was just telling my students, there is a Native American worldview where they don't make a distinction or hierarchy in terms of created beings, because they recognize that no one of us is the creator of all things. So we share in that we are createds. We're different humans from other kinds of animals, turtles and birds and dogs and cats and snakes and trees and plants, all living things, all growing things. Yeah, we are different, but when one seems to put itself over the other, like the human being we put ourselves over creation, over nature, Mother Nature comes back with a vengeance, doesn't she? I mean, she comes with a tsunami, with a volcano, with fires. Australia was just on fire. What, in January? I forget, because of all this. I forgot how recent it is, but Australia was just on fire. And so Mother Nature reminds us, no, you're not really running this. And it'll be better for you to get in alignment. Get in alignment, because you're not really in control. So this is a dis-ease that we've had, the word disease, but dis-ease, when disease shows up in the physical body, when disease shows up on the planet, it is a reflection of dis-ease in the consciousness and in the body. It shows up in the body because there is a dis-ease. Something is out of balance. Something is out of whack. And you can go for a period of time, right? You can really go for a period of time. I have the sun coming in right here, so I see the light is adjusting a little bit. So I hope it's not bothering y'all. But I'm sitting next to the sunny window here in Los Angeles. Anyway, as I was saying, there's disease that's been happening on our planet for how long? I mean, really, when you think about a virus, human beings have been acting like a virus on planet Earth. And we've been just too arrogant. We've forgotten our connection to nature. We've forgotten our connection in a haste or in a desire to be over and above, to be unaffected or uncaring when different animals become extinct because it doesn't seem to matter. Like the honeybee has been near, not extinction, but in serious jeopardy for a long time now. The bee is just now making a comeback. Don't call it a comeback, right? The bee said, I've been here for years, but because of humans, the bees have been severely damaged. Their populations have dwindled. So again, we've been wanting to put ourselves above nature, and we have treated one another as human beings poorly. We have treated one another poorly. And so it is no surprise that we have a disease. Is it? It's no surprise we have a disease. And it's no surprise we have a disease that we don't really have a handle on either, because it's a manifestation. All things start in consciousness is another spiritual truth, another spiritual teaching. All things begin in consciousness, and then they manifest in the physical. Whatever you think about, you bring about. You've heard that. If you want to bring something into manifestation, you journal on it. I teach that all the time, right? Get your mind right, get your mindset right, journal about it, and it'll come to pass, because that is the nature of creation. That is how creation happens, right? That is how that happens. Whatever you think about, you bring about, even when you're not consciously thinking of it. Because none of us would say, oh, I've been thinking about this worldwide virus and it finally manifested and I unleashed it. No. But we have been in a state of dis-ease for a long time about a lot of things. And I will say, all of these different movies that have come out, these apocalyptic kind of movies about the end of the world or disasters besetting the planet or some particular group, these movies about a disease running rampant, don't think that does not have an effect upon us, right? And some people are really getting into watching those movies now. And I said, I don't want to watch a disaster movie right now. We're living a disaster movie. Do I want to watch that as entertainment? No, I don't want to watch that as entertainment. I want to settle into my spirit and find some spiritual centeredness, which is also why I'm making this video. To offer some centeredness, to offer some words, perhaps some wisdom, if I can, about being an individual, like on an individual basis. How can you create alignment and harmony within your own body? Because back to the Native American worldview, their worldview was about living in harmony and balance with nature. Harmony and balance with the other creators, the other things that the Creator has created. Why are we at odds with nature? Why are we trying to dominate? Why are we turning a blind eye to the destruction of different things on our planet? Now, what we see is this virus, Mother Nature I posted on my Facebook page that Mother Nature has us on timeout, has told us to go in the house and sit down. And maybe you had somebody in your family, a parent, grandparent, babysitter, teacher, somebody tell you that you're getting on their nerves and you need to go somewhere and sit down, right? So Mother Nature has basically said to us, you're on my nerves. I'm going to have to try to clean up the mess that you made. Go in the house, right? Safer at home, they call it in LA or in California, safer at home. I'm going to need you to go in the house and stay until I tell you can come out. Mother Nature wins, right? So again, for us as individuals, what can you do to have alignment and balance within yourself, right? People are talking about how to stimulate your your immune system and how to have strong immune system. What about your centeredness, your spiritual centeredness as well? What are you doing to stay uh, prayed up? What are you doing to stay in your spiritual practices? I light candles every day. I've been telling you, I light candles every day with intention though. Don't just light a candle to say you lit a candle, but with a particular intention. And you can always do that with a plain white candle, whatever it is. And you can use the different color candles for different things, as I have other videos about. But a plain white candle every day with intention is helpful because it helps you get yourself, or gives you an opportunity to get yourself centered before you start looking at the news, before you start checking social media. What can I do for myself first? Anyway, let's see. I wrote myself a note just to see what else I might want to say on here. Um, I guess that's pretty much it. A touch base to see how you are. Thank you for showing up on this live with me, just spontaneous, just spur of the moment, this live here. And I guess let me know your comments. I want to come back on and do a couple more of these, or maybe just regular videos, to help us. Like as I was saying, we need something to help us, help keep us prayed up and steady and balanced. And so there's a couple things that I'm thinking of doing for that. And it might just be an afternoon pop in like this. There's a couple books that I'm reading. I might just share a reading from those books. Um, I don't know. I think it'll just be like we're living now. It'll just be, you know, spontaneous and in the moment. It'll just be what I feel and maybe what I've downloaded in my dream world. My dream world is popping, y'all. That's where I receive a lot, is when I am dreaming. I'm a person who has out of body experiences. We all do, but some people don't remember them. I do. I remember them, and I get a lot of information that way that some people get from sitting in meditation. For me, it normally comes in the dream world. So when I first wake up, I'm very conscious to reclaim the memory of the dream, to really focus in on what did I just dream, and write it down if necessary. But a lot of times I just remember it. And I remember that I have a particular message. Sometimes a message will just come through and I'll have to even say, okay, I heard you, because it'll be so pressing. It'll be so pressing on me. I get up and do this thing. And I'm like, okay, or don't forget to call this person. And, whenever I get that, I have to definitely call a person when I get that. So, um, yeah, let me know what you are needing these days, how you're feeling, and what you need for your spiritual centeredness. I guess that's the question that I would ask people in this particular community. What do you need in your spiritual centeredness? Also keep in mind that I'm continuing to add content on the Patreon page for house members who want to join me there, and just know that I'm adding different things continually. And as always, I appreciate you. And yeah, look for more of these touch base kind of things. And that's it. I'm not sure I know how to stop this live, y'all. Well, that'll be funny. What do I do? Oh, now I got my finger over the thing. Uh, what's that? Oh, this is too funny. Well, somebody can send me a chat and say, how do you do that? All right, it might end abruptly, y'all, from me signing out. I don't know. Okay, I think I found it. All right, bye. Till next time.